Well, Chad, it took way too goddamn long. Way too long, to the point where I gotta be honest, like, by the time I'm like, oh, we'll upload this to the YouTube side of things, I don't think I can possibly put, like, the scouting thing on the YouTube side, because, again, it just took way too freaking long. But we are finally ready to get to this draft, and we have our fully fleshed out game plan ready to go. So for those of you that stuck around late tonight, hey, let's hope we can make this draft worthwhile to have stayed up for. But again, in terms of draft picks, we have the 5 first-round picks to use. And again, we have targets for every single position that we really, really like here. And again, we pretty much know exactly what we want to do in this draft. So let's get to it. Again, we have the 2nd overall pick. The Chicago Bears have the number 1. And, you know, out of the 5 players in the top 5, one's a quarterback. So we're eliminating that possibility immediately. There is one player in the top 5 that I actually want and that I do think is worth it. And we'll talk about those 5 here in a second that are there. There's only one way the Bears can screw up a top 5 pick for me. Greg Snyder, not bad, has mobility issues. Lampman's that quarterback. Bruce Cox, strength is a bit of a concern, and he's a bit of a toss-up. And then Bart Flowers is honestly a little bit mid, despite it saying top 5 talent. Off of what we can see, it's this guy right here, Khalid Callahan. He is the guy. Like, this is your defensive leader in every aspect. He's the one. He is the one. Like, his play recognition is a bit low. His stamina's a bit lower. But that's it. That's it. He only has slight concerns. There are so many goddamn A's in the mix there. It's Khalid Callahan. But will Chicago take him first overall? And if they do, I am trading back. No doubt. Otherwise, we're taking that dude second. With the first overall pick, the Chicago Bears select Greg Snyder, the offensive tackle. Let's fucking go. If this corner is tragic, I'm going to be so fucking sad. He has to be amazing. Just the way he looks, he has to be legit. Has to be. No doubt, we're going to make this 2nd overall pick. Again, we have the 5th, the 13th, the 19th, the 26th. That 5th rounders we're trading, by the way. We are easily taking Khalid Callahan with the 2nd overall pick in the draft. Look at those athletic grades. 6'2", and an athletic freak that can hang with basically any wide receiver in the league. Welcome aboard, Khalid Callahan. Absolute monster. It's like if Darrelle Revis and prime Richard Sherman had a child, it'd be Khalid Callahan. It feels so good to have a top 5 pick and have there be someone that I can feel confident in selecting, by the way. Unreal. 3rd overall, the New England Patriots select quarterback B.J. Lampman. The Mac Jones era is over. Dare I say the Mac Jones era. In Miami at 4, select defensive end Christian Leslie, who was not on my short list at all.
Trying to walk through this fucking grass.
Shout out to Hoofin for the follow, and that's a real hoof. Who is that? At this point, I'm fucking tired. It's cool. We're still doing this. So Christian Leslie's off the board. We could make this pick. We could. Like, I do believe that Cox would be worth it. The problem, I mean, when are Cox not worth it? I do believe that offensive tackle Cox would be worth it. The problem is we have too much strength at offensive tackle right now, and there are players in this draft that I think we could land later on and spread the wealth a little bit and not get screwed over via money. Again, we do have a lot of, young offensive linemen that we're already building up. And knowing what we can get for this pick, I think we have to trade it. I think we have to. 2 first-round picks over the next 2 years from the Minnesota Vikings, who love to give up their picks. The Vikings are always in the mix. 2 first-round picks from San Fran. So the Vikings were offering a 5th and 2 sixths. A 4th and a 7th from San Fran. We're going to take the deal with the Niners. They love doing business with us. This was another year in which we had their first-round pick. We're going to trade down and get 2 future first-round picks from San Francisco, along with a 4th and a 7th next year. Let's do that deal with the Niners. I feel like that's a good bit of business. We've done quite a few in-division trades with them at this point. And with that 5th pick, they do take Bruce Cox. So again, I don't deny is probably great. It's just we didn't need him. It just would have caused more of an issue of moving people out. And we got more value for that pick than we would have got for dealing someone that we already have. So for me, that was worth it. There is one person in particular that I'm targeting. I just need him to fall to 13th, and I think it's a home run draft. 6th overall pick. New Orleans selects the fucking guy that I wanted. I think that guy's a stud and a half. It's Calvin Weber. Fuck. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. Like, literally on my little scouting report, I put no concerns. Maybe I should have taken him 5th. It would have been a little bit off the board to take him at 5, but I really didn't expect him to go at 6. That hurts. That hurts a lot. Again, we can't get every great player that's out there, but I would have loved to have gotten that guy. The Giants at 7. Bart Flowers, that top 5 projected corner. The Jets at 8. Sidney Payne is a linebacker. I did have him on our short list as someone who was half decent. Bucks at 9. Running back Jerry Harris. That's a very early pick. Not in terms of projection, but just for a running back. Greg Forbes, maybe the top wideout in this draft, but I had a lot of concerns about him too. The Raiders at 11 take quarterback Tyler Flores, which is fine by me. And the Bengals at 12 take Sal Davis. So there are still a lot of players in this conversation that I like. Not quite to the extent of the guy that went 6th overall. Our next pick after this is 19th. There are some players that only kind of have like one negative about them. The problem is most of them are offensive linemen. You're talking about a left tackle here in George Blackwell. His strength's a little bit concerning, but again, we don't need an offensive lineman. It is the same thing with Rashad Berry. The one guy I'd consider is the safety Matthias Griffin. The only negative about him was his stamina. And given we just missed out on that other safety, and there's no other safety who I think can really be that decent, I think we have to take Matthias Griffin 13th overall. 22 years old out of Oregon. His coverage might be a little bit concerning. He's a combine beast. He is rapid at a 4.38. Yeah, his coverage is block shedding, but the biggest thing that stands out is his stamina. But we got no choice. I need a safety. That other guy went off the board early. So with the 13th pick, we are going to drop my controller and potentially break it. I love dropping these expensive hunks of plastic. We are going to take Matthias Griffin with this pick. I wouldn't be surprised if he's normal dev. But again, we're drafting for need, and I cannot risk this guy falling to somebody else. We need him. So Matthias is our guy. I knew it. I called it. That's what happens when you have to draft for need. We had bad luck with the Saints knowing that other guy was great. That said, last year we also drafted a safety who had normal dev. He already went up to star. I do think Griffin's an athletic beast. He'll be a decent starting overall. It's not ideal. It's not a disaster, but it's not ideal, to say the least. And that 19th pick will definitely get traded. At 14, the Lions take Mitch Booth, who I did not have on my board. Fair enough. The Texans at 15 take Deontay Weary. Also didn't have him on my board. Yeah, it sucks about that safety that went early. Joe McLaughlin was on my list. The Eagles at 17. Luke Broughton, who was also on my list. No surprise to see these linebackers going. There are, I believe, there are a couple of linebackers later on. There's a day 3 linebacker that could be an insane steal. So I'm not too worried about this at this point. Broncos at 18. Kelvin Livingston as a corner. Went off the board slightly early. He was hit or miss. Cards at 19. Brian Shepard, another quarterback that we are good with. Wow, actually, he was a day 3 projection. And it's because I simmed the pick. That's what happens when I'm tired. I didn't realize it was our pick, and I simmed it. And he was the number 1 player on our board. All right, I deserve that. I deserve that. I knew I was too tired to go through this fucking draft. Fuck. I should have gone to bed. I should have gone to bed. I have no way to reverse that either. I have no way to reverse that. We just got stuck with a first round quarterback that's going to be way too expensive and was a day 3 option. I can't reload it. It'll just save. Yeah, it's just going to save. Even dashboarding, it's an online draft. It saves immediately. All right. Well, we just got a nice little wild card thrown into the mix. I was going to be able to trade down there. And instead, I accidentally take a quarterback who was a day 3 projection, 19th overall. All right. Well, we just put it on hard mode. I should have gone to bed. Stupid. I hate that there's not an "Are you sure" screen. All right. Well, Brian Shepard's our guy then. Good to know. We're definitely not going to be able to make another first round pick here. Definitely not. The Colts take David Cook. Corner that I was not interested in. Overpaying quarterbacks is our thing. No shit. Dallas. Gabe Beasley's off the board. I can't believe I just made that mistake. Chargers. Take Alex Kelly. Again, we would have traded down from that pick as well. George Blackwell off the board. Oh, boy. The Seahawks take Bright at right tackle. And the Rams take Cole Sawicki. So, I would have taken... I'm aware, Frank. I'm aware. I'm not going to make the same mistake again, at least not tonight. Because I accidentally fucked that up, I have to trade this away. I could have taken an offensive tackle who looked pretty solid. There were a couple of other O-linemen that were interesting. I have a choice here. There's a defensive tackle that I really like that I was going to take with the... I have to take him. I have to take him. It is what it is. I just have to deal with the fact that we just committed a shitload of money to a very mid quarterback on accident. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. So the player that I really like, he was the only other player along with that safety that I had listed with no negatives. And that is Jeremy Burrow out of Texas. He's 22 years old. I mean, combine-wise, he's not necessarily elite at anything, but the grades are all really strong. It's tough. Could I go and hope that he falls to the second round? Or do I take him now and have to pay a shitload of money? I mean, we have the cap space right now. I'm going to go with my gut. He could be normal, and this could end up being a disastrous fucking draft for me after the last 3 picks. Okay, thank God. So Jeremy Burrow is, in fact, hidden dev. We have 2 great defensive tackles now. 91 strength. Thank God. Thank God. So we end up making 4 first-round picks instead of 3 on accident because I'm a fucking idiot. Oh, let's see. LaMarcus Fox off the board. The Ravens take Mike Buchanan. Those linebackers continue to fall off the board here. The Chiefs, Dorian Jones. We did not have him on the list. The Commanders, Dakota Claxton. That right tackle is still there. That's insane. We'll see if he goes now because I said something. The Browns take him. Yep, every time I say something like that. Every time. Every single time. I can't believe I made that mistake. Oh my God. Carolina takes John Firth. He was on my board as one of the next can't miss options, but again, O-line. The Bears take Bradley Cheney at wideout. Again, there were only 2 good wideouts, and we missed them both. And they weren't even necessarily that good. Washington, Woodley on the edge. We didn't have that guy on our list, which is good. Patriots take Carl Briscoe at tight end. He was okay. And obviously, our pick is after this, but the Dolphins take Chris James at right tackle, which is fine by me. I didn't have him on our list. Okay, so our next pick after this isn't until 13. There is still one really, really good left tackle. And the problem is I think I have to take him. I think he's too good to pass up. I need to make myself feel better about this draft, given the circumstances. And that man is Greg Ringer. I believe this was the one guy who didn't take part in any combine. Yeah. So, very, very boomer bust. He's a pretty big risk. He could end up being awesome. He could end up being shit. I just have to decide if it's worth the money to risk it. We're going to go for it. We're taking Greg Ringer. Worth it. Hidden dev left tackle. It does mean we'll probably have to move out some members of the O-line. But again, because of that friggin' mistake in the first round, yes, I'm worried about money. But I needed to salvage this draft. And for the most part, I mean, again, we took a safety who has really good attributes. It's just that accidental pick that is a disaster for me. As the Saints take Jarvis Montgomery. Decent safety. The Giants take Cole Edison. Decent running back. They're very wealthy quarterbacks. No shit. Jets take Mark Derby. Another running back. The Bucks. I'm going to go with A-Rich. Let me know if I'm wrong. It is probably A-Rich. Thank you for the follow. Quincy Palmer's off the board. Dude, I'm going to freaking have nightmares tonight about that quarterback, though. What a stupid mistake. I mean, granted, like, we're set up really well with draft picks and everything, but that is the type of mistake that could really screw us over long term. We're up next as the Bengals take Orlando Bell. So far, in terms of who we've taken in this draft, we have the elite corner, we have the safety, we took the defensive tackle. So we still need defensive line help. We need linebacker help. Wide out help, which the wide receiver help simply isn't coming in this draft. There's nobody there. We could upgrade on special teams. So basically, it's defensive end, linebacker, or best available. So to tell you about the kind of short list that we have right now, we have another tight end, which we don't really need. The guy looks decent in the form of Clay McKell. Doesn't quite have the strength. Aside from that, he's just a toss-up as to whether or not he's good. There is a left end in DeMarco McKenzie, which again is a position of need. His strength is a bit rough, but everything else is up in the air. On the right side, there's Cassidy Baker, who has no mobility at all, but has phenomenal strength. And then there's a couple of other corners. There's Enrique Ruggs, had a bad combine. He's a pretty big risk. And then there's Eric Toon, has some pretty major injury concerns, and then a couple of other safeties. So I got to be honest, I feel like it kind of comes down to position of, I can't speak right now. Jesus, I'm sorry. I'm looking at information here. It comes down to need in certain positions as opposed to anything else, because defensive line help is not on the way. This is the time to grab somebody for the defensive line. So it comes down to either DeMarco McKenzie, 22 speed rusher out of UCLA. Again, he's got the mobility in spades. Strength is a little bit concerning. Could always stack it to the quarterback. Oh my God. The ranges are concerning here. Right. The ranges are pretty concerning. What's up, M-Dog? And then there's Cassidy Baker out of LSU. I'd pick you up, Emmy, but I don't want to get hair on this. 21 years old. Again, really only has the strength, but has pretty damn good strength. Trading out is an option as well. But look at the grades on this guy. The only concern is his mobility, but the grades look awesome. So for that reason, we're going to go for Cassidy Baker. I think he provides the help on the defensive line that we need. It's literally just that friggin' accidental quarterback pick. And aside from that, we're pretty much nailing this draft. Like, the only thing that's gone wrong with this draft is the Saints knew that safety was awesome. And I should have taken him. I mean, chill out. Like, there was the 5th overall pick that we had, but we didn't want to take that safety too early in case we were wrong. He goes off the board, so we take a safety who's good in overall, but not necessarily in potential. That's like, okay, you can deal with that. But then that freaking quarterback mistake, which was gigantic, cost us a lot of future draft picks. But aside from that, we've had another home run draft so far. So if we can keep this up and end on a high note, we're going to be in a good spot. It's just a big if. But yeah, the quarterback thing sucks and the safety thing sucks. I should have taken that guy at 5. Victor Wiggins is off the board. What do the Texans have? We don't have a pick again until the start of the 3rd round. Enrique Ruggs is off the board. Again, I'm keeping track of who we might be able to get as a late steal. Kevin Baldwin, we had him on our list. All right, Emmy, go lay down. I got to stop petting you for a minute. I'm going to get through this. Eric Toon's off the board. She did not, in fact, go lay down. Jerry Stockton is a running back. He was a 2nd to 3rd round projection. The Bills, Michael Meadows, another 2nd to 3rd round projection for a running back. We're probably not going to look to do the same thing with a running back that we succeeded at last year. DeMarco McKenzie goes off the board. The Cowboys, she didn't get a W today because it was raining. Devontae Mitchell. Never had him on our list. See if they were right. The Chargers. Oh, they took Babber. That was it was another offensive lineman that I liked. There were 2 right guards that I really liked for rounds 2 to 3, but again, I couldn't justify trading up or taking him any earlier than we did. The Falcons. Daniel Howard at right tackle. Didn't have him on our list. The Seahawks. Clay McKell. There goes that tight end. That holdover. Rams. What do we got? Spencer Irons. Never had him on our list either. Which is good. Means we got more options coming up. The Jags. Taylor Gilkey, didn't have him on our list either. AI going with some off-the-board picks. Joey Casey's off the board at tight end. We did have him. Someone to keep an eye on. Ravens take Dalton Whitfield. He was a toss-up based on what our scouts told us. Chiefs, Carson Andrews. Off the board, at least off of our short list. Washington, Morton. He was okay. He had pretty mad agility and mid-coverage skills. The Browns, Zeke Baxter. Had terrible coverage skills. Athletic freak, but terrible coverage skills. Teddy Ballard off the board at defensive tackle. He had strength concerns. He had like no power game at all as a DT. It was weird. And then the Bears take Justice Coakley as a corner, who was pretty trash. So we have a couple of guys here on the board. There is one, given we only have 1 third-round pick. There is one. It's another offensive lineman. But I know he's the best player on the board. There's not a single linebacker that I would take right now. And it's just more offensive linemen that look really good later on. I got to take the best player available. I mean, I could trade down, but there is a chance this guy is good. And it's Trevor Nash at right guard. 22 out of Boise State. Combine freak. And the grades, I mean, are a bit of a toss-up, but there are some good ones in there. So we're going to take Trevor Nash. Nailed it. I mean, again, it's just one of those things where it's like we know these players are good. It's just I don't need the O-line help. Like, we're going to have to make trades. We're going to have to. Like, all that time and the work that we put into scouting pays off. Like, we can pretty much nail down who's going to be a really strong player just by process of elimination. But again, it's O-line help, and we don't need it. So we don't have another pick until the 4th round. We will skip ahead because of that and hope for the best here. So let's see what we have. Who is still available? Our pick after this, we have another pick in the 4th round. So, short list. Is the running back Bennett still available? He is not. Not surprising. What about a left tackle named Thomas? He's gone. And a defensive end named Moore. He is gone. So from here, tight ends. No more tight ends. Okay, including Buckner that I liked. Left guard, no Davis, no McMichael, no Wilcox. What about Cannon? Mike Cannon's there, and he's going to be good, most likely. The right guards that were half decent are gone. There was a linebacker named Marshall. Nope, he is gone. That sucks. Claiborne or Brooks, they are both gone. Jesus, so there was one dude, rounds 3 to 4, that that happened to be available at this stage, and that is another O-lineman. We have a shitload of 4th round picks. A shitload. I feel like we should be safe. If that frickin' linebacker, and it's this guy right here, Gerald Howard, that looked great. He's a real boomer bust prospect. I feel like I should be able to get Mike Cannon and then still land Howard, and I'm going to risk it. So with this pick, we are going with the center, Mike Cannon. God, if we just did fuck up that accidental quarterback pick. This has been an insane draft. But I screwed up that one pick, and it's going to haunt me forever. Welcome, Mike Cannon. Son of a bitch. This could have been my magnum opus. The Patriots select Matt Madsen, which is fine. We just don't want to see middle linebacker Howard go off the board. The Dolphins take cornerback Johnny Russell. That's fine. He wasn't on my list. Vikings, Dakota McNeil. Perfectly fine. So far, so good. Hit the wrong button. That accidental pick and not getting that safety. This could have been the best draft of all time. It was right there in my grasp. The Saints take defensive end Waller. He wasn't on our list either. The Giants. Preston Wells wasn't on our list. The Jets. Screwed it up. Oh, no. Ooh. It's always the goddamn Jets. This could have gone down as the best draft class of all time. Missed it by 5 picks. I should have gone with him over the center. We needed that future linebacker, and he could have been it. There are a shitload of linebackers to take late in this draft to hope for the best. And who knows, maybe we would have gotten a different mid-pick for trading away that accidental quarterback pick. Oh, man. I am so bummed out right now. I'm so bummed out. It is true we could still try to trade for him at some point, but again, players don't immediately show up still, right? I'm so sad right now. I'm so sad. Again, like, it's not a disaster for us how this draft has played out. To the contrary, this has been an amazing draft for us in the grand scheme of things. But really, this could have been an all-timer. It really could have been. Yeah, I mean, he's not there yet. He won't be for a bit. Well, you'll be shocked to know that with this pick, there's another good offensive lineman. And I will continue to take these offensive linemen until they stop being good. That man's name this time is another center named C.J. Hendricks. Normal dev. I hit the button too fast. All right. So finally, the ball kind of drops on these options here. Good to know. Good to know. All right, we got another pick coming up. Now can be the time where I start risking it for some of these linebackers. At the same time, I mean, it's 4th round picks. I might as well make them while we don't have money issues. We do have a couple of players here that are projected for day 3 that we can just take a risk on. Oh, I'm so upset. I'm so upset. We are going to go for a safety who's a little bit older, but he's a coin toss. He's a coin flip. He could be great. He could be mid. We don't have that guaranteed player to take anymore. That's actually a lie. There is a linebacker on my list who is outright boomer bust, and I'd technically be taking him early, but Jesus Christ. Now's the time to do that. He's actually projected to be undrafted, which is Eddie Buckley. So I can take him later. Let's take the safety, Quincy Bankston. 23 years old, but he could be decent. Normal dev. Good athletic player. But we don't hit on that friggin' linebacker, man. If he ends up being hidden dev for the Jets, I'm going to be devastated. I'm going to be devastated because it's a 4th round pick. I could have traded up. I could have. Running back wise, there are a couple of guys here that are in the mix. But again, we already have 2 decent running backs, so I really don't need to risk it again. We already took a decent defensive tackle. There was a guy named Hare. There's a couple of guys linebacker-wise that we could take. Just looking at kind of who are the boom or bust players at this stage. It's so many players. So many players ended up being offensive linemen in this draft. It's just the way that it's shaked out. Best player available at this stage. Red Shots, appreciate the raid. Caught me at a time where I want to jump out my window. I accidentally simmed through a first round pick. How did your stream go? Take a risk on one of the running backs, particularly the day threes. Just looking at my kind of scouting notes here. We don't necessarily... Oh, I was going to consider Casey, but he is now gone. So I'm a little bit worried about this linebacker, but now's the time. We're going to look at Kerry Spitzer. His mobility was a big concern, but he's really boom or bust here. It's Madden. That's what I always say to people. It's Madden. Kerry Spitzer is the pick. Normal dev. He's a depth option, though. Again, boom or bust prospect. It was worth the risk, especially at this stage. Let's go ahead to round number 5. I am still just ripping myself apart from the inside right now. Okay, what do we have available here? What do we have from day 3? Melton Martin gone. Prince is still there. Do we have the left guard Cadet? Cadet's still there. Linebacker, do we have McLean? We did not, but we do have Harris. Middle linebacker, do we have Lane? You said you were trading this pick. Did I? Because I'm not. Plans change. No Weathersby at... You know, this will be the time, actually, that we do take the risk on the running back. We're going to pick up Mike Prince out of New Mexico State. He's 23 years old, but it apparently has F catching, but he's another power back, so hey, you never know. We didn't get lucky in the 5th round this time. It was worth a shot. It was worth a shot. And like I said, these picks, there's no reason to not just make them and try to get a late round steal.
I'm just trying to walk through this fucking grass.
I mean, it has to be Bubba Nono, right? Thank you for the follow. Let me know how to say your name. All right. Another pick here in the 5th round. We do have options. I want to secure that linebacker Buckley, who is again a projected UDFA, but I like the looks of him. We're going to take him early. High risk, high reward. That's why we call it high risk. So we do add a couple of linebackers into the mix. It's new Madden worth it. Again, if you enjoyed the previous years of what Madden's been, you'll enjoy this. If you've hated what Madden's been, it's a lot of the same. All right, we got one pick here in the 6th round. Let's see what we can do with it. What can we do with it? So we got Dave Durant left at quarterback, but LOL. Running back wise is Pat Vincent, George Tucker. Fullbacks, Matthews, Ostrowski, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, left tackle, we still have Paul Lincoln. Left guard, Cadet is gone, but Hubbard is there. Center, we don't have Allen, but we do have Horton, Tyson, DeLong, and Stanley. No right guard, no right tackle. Left end, nobody. Do we have defensive tackle? We don't. Hardesty's off the board. Linebackers, Harris is still there. Davis, Chavez, McQueen. Middle linebacker, Lane is gone, but Bates and Stewart are there. Right side still has Burgess and Curtis. Okay. So the highest projected player left, who was on our board earlier, is the left outside linebacker, Randy Harris. So we are going to go for him and just keep taking linebackers until we strike. And unfortunately, right now, it's just proven to be a lot of depth and a lot of practice squad fodder. Unfortunately, this has turned into one of the more bizarre drafts that I think I've ever had. It's been a very, very good draft in a lot of ways, but there has been a lot of wasted potential. This could have been seriously the best draft I've ever had, and I just missed in a couple of regards. As we see the players left on our board, So that Durant quarterback is gone. Vincent's gone, but that leaves Tucker. 4 fullbacks. Left tackle Lincoln's there. Hubbard's there. Tyson is still there, but Horton is not. So 3 centers went. Left outside linebacker. Davis Chavez McQueen. Middle linebacker. Just Stewart remains. Burgess is gone. Okay, who do we got? Donovan. Thank you for the follow. The best player left. Could take a risk on one of the fullbacks. Just to try and get like a star dev fullback or something. We could go for another running back in George Tucker to try to get lucky again. There was another... How many picks do we have left? 2 more after this. There's 1 linebacker left that I don't mind. He had a mid-combine, but he had some half-decent grades. And that was Matthew McQueen. Honestly, I think we're going to go for the running back. Let's go for George Tucker. Try to get lucky with another running back. It's probably star dev, but we'll still take it for a projected UDFA. Welcome in, George Tucker. We love ourselves some power backs here in Arizona. Puts a bit of a smile on my face. Not entirely. Still been a sad night, but not bad. All right. We got 2 picks left. 2 picks left. There are a couple of guys that are interesting here. The best player left is Lincoln. The only issue is he's 23 and he's a bit of a toss-up. It's another offensive lineman, which is a bit scary, but we can risk it. We can swing it. We're going to go for Paul Lincoln. Yeah, normal dev. That's okay. Again, a lot of these guys might end up on the practice squad just to get out of those contracts. 1 pick left. Such a bizarre draft. I'm never doing a draft this late at night again. Never. It's been good, but man, there's so much regret. So much. So our final pick, we got a left guard in Hubbard. It was kind of mid. Tyson's still there. Davis, Chavez, McQueen, Stewart, and Curtis. At this rate, we might as well just try to land the best fullback available. We might as well. We might as well. So what do we got? Tyler Matthews is 23, so if he is the best, I don't want him. Shinsky's 22, 23. Yeah, they're all a little bit older, so even if they do have good dev patterns, it's not going to matter. Well... based off of what I'm seeing, it's either another O-lineman or another linebacker, and we will go for the linebacker, with it being a bigger position of need at this stage. And that man is going to be Matthew McQueen. 22-year-old out of Maryland. Normal dev. A lot of picks, yet too many at the same time than what we planned. I don't know how to feel, because we did land some very, very good players. We landed a potentially generational corner. At the same time, the mistakes, especially that friggin' quarterback at 19 because I'm an idiot. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's talk about this. Khalid Callahan and Matthias Griffin, both 80s. Again, Griffin is normal dev, but he's a fucking 80. He's the Kurt Slater of safeties. And then we accidentally take a 66 overall, 23-year-old quarterback who does have hidden dev. No way. No way does he have hidden dev, dude. He was projected for day 3. No shit, I have my fucking short list here that we made. He was projected for day 3. That's insane. That's insane. Maybe Brian Shepard's our hero after all, and we didn't even want to take him. Hilarious. Even when we screw up, we still get someone with hidden dev. Then it was 73 overall Burrow, 74 for Ringer, Baker at a 72, 73 for Nash, 71 for Cannon. Then the overalls dropped a little bit. 73 for Spitzer, a 70 for Prince. Tucker's only a 65, even though he has the dev pattern. So we did bring in a lot of depth, but again, we also brought in, 2 outrageous game changers for the secondary, and we still have $113 million in cap space. But look at how much friggin' money we signed Brian Shepard to. We almost have to use him at this stage. Stupid. We only wanted 3 first-rounders, and it would have been Callahan, Griffin, and Burrow. And that would have been amazing, but then we still end up getting a quarterback. The top pick, oh my God, Greg Snyder. 83 overall. I'm not surprised he was that good, but again, in my mind, we didn't necessarily need the O-line help, although everybody could have used a guy like that. But Callahan was great. Lampman's only a 71. Bruce Cox is 70. Yeah! No! Oh my God! He was as good as I thought he was. Oh, please have normal dev. Again, I should have taken him 5th. I thought he might fall to like 13th. We had the 5th pick. We traded down. Oh my God, please no. Oh, I knew it. I knew he was that good too. But I thought he would fall. I tried to get crafty and didn't take him at 5. Oh, I'm such a dickhead. Oh, we could have had this guy on the same damn team as Callahan. Fuck, we still ended up with an 80 overall safety, but again, he's normal dev. Imagine if I took Callahan at 2 and Weber at 5. We still did well, but this could have been like the A++ draft. It really could have been. That's rough, man. And again, there are some other players where I'm really intrigued in what they are. And again, Griffin is such a great silver medal. He really is. It is true we can't get them all, but I could have. Like in this instance, I could have. It wasn't a situation where it's like, oh, you know, whatever. It's just I tried to get fancy. I tried to get fancy, and I thought, you know, this guy will still be available, and the AI won't know how good he is. They knew. Again, there are a lot of players here. I'd love to check the dev patterns, but there's too many to check. There just is. Again, so many of these guys I had on my short list that I'd like to check. Obviously, like the Patriots quarterback they drafted, stuff like that. The biggest question, Briscoe was a 74. So again, that's where we took a ringer. Montgomery, Edison. Goodness. The Bell's not bad. And there we took Cassidy Baker. Wiggins, Ruggs off the board. Baldwin, Toon was pretty good. Again, a lot of these players I'd love to know. They need to add in that freaking empty space the dev patterns, so we know. 75 overall tight end, Gilkey. Damn. Okay, there are some good players. There are some good players. I don't know what's going on. Round 3. Round 3 was where it happened, right? With the Jets. Because we took Trevor Nash. 75 overall Nixon, a right guard. I need this linebacker to not be good for the Jets. I need it. I don't think I've gone past him. Couple of 75s there. 75 and Stephen Marshall. Or was it 4th round? Must have been 4th round. I know I can obviously just go look at the Jets, but I'm also looking at other players. Yeah, here comes Howard. He's a 70. Please be normal, Dev. Please be normal, Dev. Okay, it ended up not mattering. We would have been wrong. We would have been wrong. That one's not as devastating now because Cannon was decent. Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better. That makes me feel a little bit better. It's just that friggin' safety that we should have taken 5th overall. If we had just taken that safety, this would have been an all-timer. It's still a very good draft. Ooh, that's a defensive tackle I had on my list. 74, Isaac Hardesty. Normal Dev, though. Whew. Well, at the very least, one way or another, you can't say the drafts haven't been interesting for us. They certainly have been. My goodness. Elton Prince. Is that the name of a guy in WWE? But yeah, there were some pretty decent late picks. Like I said, there's too many players to check that I'd love to check, but we'll find out eventually. But yeah, an 83 first overall pick, and then Weber went 6th to the Saints. We could have had him at 5, but I tried to get fancy. But we did land 2 80 overall players in the same draft, which is still very good. Very, very good indeed. But what could have been is going to haunt me for a long time, and there is now a lot to do with this roster as we head into tomorrow. The offensive line, we're going to have to make changes. There's no doubt about it. We're on 61 players on this roster. We don't know how people would have been affected by the depth either, or the dev changes. But, you know, there's the question of, is now the right time to trade Kyler Murray? 42 in savings, a $30 million penalty. Is now the right time to trade Kyler Murray and run with Shepard and Slater as our quarterbacks? Is now the time. There are some decisions that can be made. We have an X factor unless he went superstar. Cameron Walton drops from X Factor to Superstar. Are you kidding me with these demotions? Why? I can't take any more heartbreak tonight. I can't take any more heartbreak tonight. I got to go to bed off of that. I can't believe we just lost our Superstar X Factor running back. It is absolutely cursed. Like I said, we got a lot of changes here. Lord knows we need to sign some freaking wide receivers. Yeah, and then the O-line, there's going to be an absurd amount of depth. So off stream, I will try to optimize this as best I can. We're still not going to be an amazing team next year, but I do think we got some decent pieces. But yeah, if we could stop being absolutely destroyed by developmental regression, that would be so cool. Did Derek Ridley go superstar? He was only a star. All right, well, the game giveth and the game taketh.